Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in life when you realize that not everyone who walks through your door is meant to stay. Not every voice deserves to echo in your home, and not every smile hides good intentions. Sometimes the people closest to us, those we allow into our sacred space, can be the very ones holding us back, draining our strength, and slowly dimming our light. This isn't about hate. It's about healing. It's not about pushing people away. It's about protecting the peace you've cried for, the joy you've fought for, and the dreams you've dared to believe in. Because your home, your life, your future is worth guarding. So today, let's talk about 5 kinds of people you must keep away from your home. Not because you're angry, but because you're finally awake. There is a kind of noise that doesn't come from outside. It comes from people we let too close. The kind of noise that doesn't rattle windows, but rattles peace. Some folks walk into a room and bring light with them. Others bring a cloud so thick you forget the sun was ever shining. And if we're not careful, we'll invite them into our homes and hand them the remote to our emotional well-being. You know the type. They complain about the weather, the traffic, the food, their job, your job, and the government all in one breath. But it doesn't stop there. They complain about your decisions, your timing, your dreams. Even your blessings somehow become topics of critique. It's never about building, it's about breaking down. Their words may seem harmless at first, but over time, that steady stream of negativity wears away at your spirit like water carving into stone. Peace is one of the most valuable things you can ever possess. It's not bought, borrowed, or handed out. It's built and protected. And once you have it, you'll realize how quickly it can be shaken by the wrong presence. A complainer doesn't just bring their problems, they try to unpack them in your living room. They don't just speak their mind, they fill your mind with their own limitations, frustrations, and fears. And if you're not grounded, you start seeing your life through their cracked lens. Here's the thing, we weren't created to carry everyone's weight, especially the weight they refuse to put down themselves. Helping someone is one thing, but hosting their habitual negativity, that's another. Not every guest deserves a seat at your table. You can love people from a distance. You can pray for them without living with them. You can wish them well without inviting their storm into your sanctuary. Peace isn't passive, it's intentional. It's a choice you make daily to surround yourself with what builds, not what breaks. And that choice may cost you some relationships, but it will never cost you more than keeping them would. Your home should be a shelter, not just from the wind and rain, but from the voices that try to shrink your vision. It should be a place where dreams are planted, watered, and spoken into existence, not a place where every idea is questioned, every goal is laughed at, and every ambition is smothered by fear disguised as realism. Because the truth is, not everyone deserves to be in the inner circle of your life, especially when they can't see beyond the limits they've placed on themselves. When you entertain complainers long enough, you start to mimic their mindset. You begin to question the goodness in your life. You start finding flaws where there used to be gratitude. And suddenly, you're not dreaming anymore. You're doubting. You're not celebrating. You're complaining too. Misery loves company, and it never leaves quietly. That's why protecting your peace is not selfish. It's survival. It's wisdom. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to start a war. But you do need to be clear. Not every voice deserves volume in your space. There's a difference between being a safe space for someone who's struggling and being a permanent dumping ground for someone who has no desire to grow. You have to learn to guard your environment like it's sacred, because it is. Your home should be a place of rest, of laughter, of healing, of growth. Not a courtroom where you're constantly being judged. Not a therapy session where you're the unpaid counselor. Not a battlefield where joy and complaint wrestle until you're too tired to smile. The doubters aren't always loud. Sometimes they wear a smile. Sometimes they claim they're just being realistic. But realism without vision is just disguised fear. And the saddest part, many people don't even realize they're doing it. They were told no so many times they believe it's their job to hand out no to everyone else. But their limits are not your limits. Their past is not your future. Just because they couldn't doesn't mean you won't. But your home is not a courtroom. Your dreams don't need to be cross-examined like a suspect on trial. They need to be nurtured like seeds with the potential to bloom. Every great story began with someone bold enough to believe before there was proof. And belief, just like doubt, is contagious. That's why the environment you build matters more than the furniture you buy. Because what good is a beautiful house if you're afraid to dream inside it? You have to get serious about protecting the atmosphere where your dreams are born. That means filtering the voices, setting boundaries, and sometimes creating distance. It doesn't mean you stop loving people. It means you stop giving them power over your belief. Because what you listen to consistently will shape what you become eventually. Doubt may knock on the door, but you don't have to let it live in your guest room. There's a kind of person who, no matter how well-meaning they sound, always brings doubt into the room. They look at your ideas with a raised eyebrow, not because they care, but because they don't believe it's possible, not for you, and often not even for themselves. They're quick to say, "Are you sure that's going to work?" Or "Don't get your hopes up." And if you let them linger too long, you'll start asking yourself the same questions. The danger isn't just in what they say, it's in how often they say it. Repeated doubt spoken over your life becomes a soundtrack. And when the soundtrack of your home is filled with second guessing, hesitation, and limitation, you begin to live small, inside and out. Doubt has a way of creeping in like smoke. It doesn't barge in with force. It slowly fills the room, clouding your clarity and choking your confidence. A dream from your home isn't one where everything is perfect. It's one where belief is louder than fear. It's where people speak life, not limitations. It's where you can talk about goals without being mocked. It's where growth is celebrated, not resented. And if you haven't had that kind of space before, it's never too late to build it now, starting with what you allow and who you allow in. Dreams are fragile in the early stages. Like a flame in the wind, they need protection, encouragement, hope. So be careful who you let speak into your space, because your dreams don't just need room to grow. They need the right soil to survive. There's something dangerously subtle about gossip. It doesn't always sound like poison. Sometimes it sounds like concern. Sometimes it wears the disguise of friendship. It starts with a whisper, a story, a "did you hear?" that pulls you in. And before you know it, someone else's name is being dragged across the table like it doesn't carry weight. Like it doesn't belong to a real person with real struggles, dreams, and pain. The problem isn't just a story being told. It's the heart behind it and the hands it passes through. It's easy to think it's harmless, just words, just conversation. But words have weight. They can build or break, heal or harm. If we truly believe that, then we'll stop allowing gossip to dress itself up as entertainment. We'll stop laughing at someone else's failure. We'll stop giving the stage to people who thrive on drama, but lack the courage to deal with their own reflection. You don't have to confront every gossiper with a speech. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Change the subject, walk away. Protect the peace. You stop seeing the best in others because you've been fed a steady diet of the worst. That's what gossip does. It doesn't just taint the one it talks about, it taints the one who listens. There's a special kind of trust that comes with friendship. An unspoken agreement that says your name is safe with me, even when you're not in the room. If someone violates that trust with others, why would you believe you're an exception? Don't be fooled by the smile, the sweet tone. Gossip isn't about connection, it's about control. People gossip to feel powerful. Not every battle needs a warrior. Some just need a closed door. When you set the standard, you'll be amazed how quickly the gossip stops or finds another place to go, and let it. Because your peace is worth more than someone else's secret. You deserve friendships that speak life, not suspicion. Relationships where people talk to you, not about others. And if you ever want to know who you can trust, pay attention to what someone says when the person they're talking about. That's the real test of character. That's the true temperature of loyalty. When someone brings gossip to your doorstep, it's not just about the words they speak, it's about the character they carry. Because if they're comfortable tearing someone else down in front of you, it's only a matter of time before your name rolls off their tongue in someone else's living room. Gossipers are not loyal, they're not trustworthy, they don't carry stories, they carry seeds of division. And once those seeds are planted in your space, they begin to grow into distrust, jealousy, and confusion. You start looking at people differently. You start questioning motives. They use information like currency, spending, someone else's reputation to buy attention, validation, or even laughter. You have to decide what kind of person you want to be and what kind of people you want around you. Are you going to be someone who protects reputations or someone who profits from their ruin? Will your presence be a safe space or a stage for cheap talk? It matters more than you think, because the environment you allow becomes the standard you set. And when gossip is allowed in the room, trust walks out. If they gossip to you, they'll gossip about you. Don't just hear it, believe it. It's not just a saying, it's a signal. Pay attention. Because protecting your peace starts with protecting your ears. And not every story is worth listening to. There are people who walk into your life and immediately make you feel lighter. They don't have to fix your problems, offer perfect words, or come with solutions. Just their presence speaks peace. Their words breathe hope. Their energy lifts you. And then there are others who do the exact opposite. The moment they speak, the room feels heavier. The moment they leave, you feel drained. Not because you were giving too much, but because they came to take. That's why you've got to protect your spirit. Protect the light in you. Not everyone deserves access to the most vulnerable parts of your journey. Some people will take your dreams and twist them into jokes. They'll hear your goals and respond with, "Good luck with that." Not because you're incapable, but because they are uncomfortable. And if you're not careful, their voice will become your inner voice. But then there are lifters, the quiet encouragers, the ones who believe in you even when you're doubting yourself. They show up not to compete, not to criticize, but to remind you of your strength when you forget. They celebrate your wins without envy, and they sit with you in the losses without judgment. These are the kind of people who make you feel like anything is possible, not because they have all the answers, but because they help you remember you're not alone. Lifters don't need the spotlight. They're not trying to outshine you. They're trying to make sure your light doesn't go out. They speak life when you're surrounded by noise. They push you forward when fear is pulling you back. And they're not afraid of your growth because they know your success doesn't threaten theirs. In fact, it inspires them. When you find people like that, hold on to them. Appreciate them. Become like them, because the world has enough critics, enough doubters, enough people quick to judge, slow to understand. What the world needs more of, what you need more of, are voices that lift, hearts that see, and hands that help. Not because you're weak, but because we all need a little lifting sometimes. You have to be intentional about who you surround yourself with, because your environment plays a huge role in shaping your mindset, your confidence, and your direction. Spirit crushers aren't always loud. Sometimes they speak in subtle tones, sarcastic remarks, backhanded compliments, just being honest statements that actually carry daggers wrapped in politeness. Their goal isn't to encourage, it's to pull you down just enough so they feel higher. They may not even know they're doing it. Some people have lived so long under the weight of their own discouragement that they've forgotten what it feels like to believe. And when they see you reaching, growing, dreaming, they project their fear onto your future. They can't imagine rising, so they try to keep you grounded. Not for your safety, but for their comfort. Keeping lifters in your life isn't about building a bubble of constant praise. It's about surrounding yourself with people who challenge you without crushing you, correct you without condemning you, and believe in you even when you forget how to believe in yourself. Those people are rare, but they exist. And often, they're the ones who've been crushed before, but chose to become lifters anyway. So take a look around. Pay attention to how you feel after certain conversations. Do you feel heavy or hopeful, seen or small, inspired or insecure? The answers will tell you who's lifting and who's crushing. And once you know that, the choice becomes clear. You don't need to make a scene. You don't need to explain your boundaries. Just live them. Keep lifters close and let the rest fade into the background. Love is powerful, but it is not permission. It's not permission for people to walk over you, use you, drain you, or disrespect you. Real love, healthy, honest love, comes with boundaries. Because without boundaries, love isn't love anymore. It becomes sacrifice without purpose, kindness without respect, and giving without limits. And no matter how strong you are, no heart can carry that forever. There's a difference between being kind and being used, between being humble and being stepped on. You can serve others without becoming their servant. You can forgive without becoming someone's punching bag. There's strength in love, yes, but there's also wisdom. And wisdom knows when to say enough. Too many people confuse boundaries with being mean. But boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are doors to show people how to come in respectfully. When you set a boundary, you're not pushing people away. You're protecting your peace, your values, your purpose. That's not selfish, it's sacred. People who truly love and value you will respect your boundaries. They won't guilt trip you for saying no. They won't manipulate your kindness. They won't use your love as leverage, because when someone values your presence, they'll never make you question your worth. But there will always be those who take advantage of love that has no edges. They will keep asking, keep taking, keep expecting, and never give back. And the longer you allow it, the more they will assume it's okay. The truth is, some people don't change their behavior because they're never required to. Your boundaries won't just teach them about you, they'll teach them about themselves. You are not called to be everything for everyone. You're not designed to carry every burden, fix every crisis, or say yes to every request. Saying no doesn't make you less loving. It makes your love intentional, strong, honest. And sometimes love says, I care about you, but I can't let you treat me this way. That kind of love might not feel comfortable at first. It may be misunderstood. You may even lose people. But the ones who stay, those are your people. The ones who grow with you, the ones who appreciate your heart and honor your boundaries, those relationships may be fewer, but they'll be deeper, healthier, real. Being a doormat never built a strong relationship. It builds silent resentment, exhaustion, confusion. Love in its truest form doesn't demand your silence, your exhaustion, or your self-abandonment. It calls for your strength, your honesty, and your presence on both sides. Surround yourself with lifters. Guard your space like it holds your future, because it does. You're not being rude, you're being wise. You're not pushing people away, you're pulling purpose closer. The life you're building deserves protection, and the peace you're fighting for, that's the foundation where your next level begins. So rise up, set the tone, and never apologize for choosing what keeps your heart strong, your mind clear, and your purpose alive. So yes, love deeply, give generously, be kind without limits, but don't forget, boundaries are not the enemy of love. They are the protectors of it. Because real love doesn't just give, it also guards. And you, your time, your energy, and your heart are worth guarding every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, your home is more than four walls. It's the atmosphere where your peace grows, your dreams breathe, and your spirit rests. Protector, don't let complainers drain your joy or doubters darken your vision. Don't entertain gossip that poisons trust or spirit crushers that shrink your confidence. And above all, never forget that love, real love, has boundaries. You were never meant to be a doormat. You were meant to stand, to rise, and to walk in strength.